this is why Chelsea have signed Renato Veiga. Let's go. This guy is, honestly, I've never heard of him. He plays for Basel in Switzerland. We signed him for £11 million, going up to 14 potentially. He's, from what I can tell, Chelsea wanted Calafiori as the perfect guy. I thought he was the perfect guy, but Arsenal have Champions League football, and they're probably 1 or 2 years ahead of. Well, that's a bobbly pitch. Bit of a dodgy finish, but there he is. He's a tall guy, by the way. Pretty tall. Got gloves on, though. Don't need gloves, mate. You're a professional footballer. That's a bobbly pitch, though. Yeah, keeper. I don't know what keeper's doing. So Calafiori. Wow, good footwork there. Calafiori did play for Basel. He then joined Bologna literally this time last summer. That's a great ball in. So he's good at passing. Renato Veiga. And then Calafiori was destined for a move away. It was between Arsenal and Chelsea, I believe. But Arsenal have Champions League football. And their project is probably 2 or 3 years ahead of Chelsea's at this moment in time. Oh, he scored a free kick. So, Calafiori looks like it's going to Arsenal. It won't be coming to Chelsea. But Chelsea have awesome salmon. I love salmon. No more salmon. Chelsea have apparently been scouting Renato Veiga for months now, and they believe his value is actually a lot more than what we got him for, £10 million. And that's a bargain, apparently, according to them. I've never heard of him, but you've got to kind of trust the sporting directors at this point, and some people won't because maybe the track record of all the signings haven't been great. Madrid hasn't really hit the ground running. Enzo Fernandez hasn't lived up to his potential just yet. But I can see what they're doing. I can see they're obviously very knowledgeable. They have a great database of stats and players. And if they think this guy will suit Maresca's system perfectly, which is what we're going to get onto in a minute, then at this point you just have to trust them. And I personally trust them. And I'm not quite sure why I trust them because, I mean, Cole Palmer, it's just clear he's a great footballer. Whereas some of the other signings are slightly questionable maybe. But the sporting directors, Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley, ever since they fully took over as sporting directors and co-sporting directors, their signings, they didn't sign Raheem Sterling, Mark Cucurella for big wages, for big money. They've been getting the young, the Mark Guius, the Cole Palmers, that was more Joe Shields. Who else? The Malagustos, the uncovered gems across Europe. And the Messinios, the Estevals, the Kendry Pizes, obviously we haven't seen them in Chelsea shirts yet, but they look destined for a huge future. But this guy, not Rafael Veiga, Renato Veiga. It's Portuguese. He's 20 years old. He's soon about to turn 21 at the end of the month, I believe. He stands at 6'1", so he's pretty tall. He looks physical. He used to play for Sporting. I think he went on loan to Augsburg and did decent in the Bundesliga, or might have been second division Bundesliga. And then joined Basel last year to replace Calafiori. So he's about 1 year behind Calafiori in his development for his career. And you can see he's pressing high there. He scored a goal from just pressing the goalkeeper, doing the Conor Gallagher sort of thing. And we're signing him as he was the Calafiori replacement for Basel. So we're hoping that for 5 times cheaper, literally he's going to cost £11 million. Calafiori will be going to Arsenal for at least £50 million. 5 times cheaper, 1 year behind schedule or behind development. It's got a better injury record apparently, more physical as well. He's taller and he's younger as well. But then that does mean he's got a year less experience. That's their risk. It will be. That looked offside. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he goes on. That's definitely offside. That is terrible movement from the striker. So he takes free kick, or he didn't take it there, but he's a free kick taker. His position, we'll get onto his position when we go look at his profile and his stats in a minute. We'll look at his profile first, then his stats on FB Ref. He's taking a penalty here, so he's left-footed. What was that technique? Is it a Panenka into the top corner? I've never seen that before, it's a bit dodgy. But his primary position in his career has been midfield, a defensive midfielder. Another one of those weird technique penalties. I like it though. I like it. They're going in. They're like weird Panenkas. He's got a bit of bottle in him. He's not bottling him. He's got Yeah, he's done it again. These Panenkas are sending all the keepers. That was last season for Basel. So, yeah, he's a defensive midfielder, but he's left-footed. He can play left back, centre back. He's physical enough to play most positions in and around the defence. And what we know about Enzo Maresca, last season it was Ricardo Pereira. He was the right back, stepped into midfield alongside Harry Winks in possession. Now, I believe with Marc Cucurella, we'll have the right back who was Ricardo Pereira, stepped into midfield last season, and then the left back was Wout Faes. He kind of stepped into a left centre back role in possession. But I believe under Chelsea, he'll switch it. He'll invert the inverted fullback. So the right back will become the right centre back, as Reece James is. We played him there before as a right of a 3. It's less strenuous on his body. And we've got a few. Disasi could do that job. Alfie Gilchrist could do it in the future. He'll probably go on loan. Yeah, and then so Reece James will come into the back 3 in possession, but then because he can defend so well, he's quick, but then he can offer something going forward. I'd hope that Reece James's attacking capabilities, because his attacking threat in the final third, his crosses, are unmatched as a right back. And then I believe the left back, who last season was Ricardo Pereira as the right back, this year I believe under Maresca it will be Cucurella, or indeed this guy Renato Veiga will step into the midfield role, and it will just completely switch. So it will be, I believe, Enzo Fernandez and either this guy or Cucurella, whoever starts, as the 2 deeper sort of midfielders, covering the defence, but also providing the options in attack to reset, switch the play across. Surely not much left of this video. There's not too much of this guy's football. A lot of these are sporting highlights from when he was sporting under 21s, I believe. There's a few bars of highlights from last season, but he looks decent. He looks big and strong. He looks good on the ball. Very versatile, as he is young. Lots of young. That was a good little flick on from the near post. Lots of young players in the academy and development squad, when they don't have a decided position. Is that the end of the video? Still another minute apparently, but it's probably just black screen to get to 8 minutes. Yeah, so we'll move on to his profile next on transfer market. But what I was going to say quickly was that young players, such as age of 20, even younger, so you have a look at Chempong in our academy, Isha Samuel Smith, they're sort of centre-backs or left-backs, or centre-backs or right-backs in Chempong's case, because the coaches don't want to fix them into one specific position as a youngster. They want them to be as versatile as possible for the future. And it looks like this guy's still young. You can be easily moulded when you're young. So Renato Veiga is 20 years old. Like I said, it's July the 29th, his birthday, so less than a month he'll turn 21. He's 1.9 metres, about 6'2". So he's nice and tall. He's capped for Portugal under 21, so he's got a future ahead of him, they believe. Position, defensive midfield. He's from Lisbon. It's not that important. But if you look at this bit. Oh, the mouse is not showing. Let me show my mouse. There we go. So the main position, defensive midfield. This is where he would play for Chelsea. And it kind of suggests, if we're signing him and Cucurella, what he's been doing for Spain, it suggests what I was talking about. Reece James, or the right-hand-sided right back out possession, would shift into the 3 in possession. I believe Colby will be in the middle. And then maybe it would be, or maybe, I don't know, we'd have to see. But I believe Reece James will shift into the defence, then the left back will shift into midfield, rather than the left back shifting into defence and the right back shifting into midfield, which is what Maresca did last season. And when he was at Man City, Enzo Maresca, it was Cancelo that shifted into the midfield on the left-hand side. And apparently that was, I remember reading that was his idea, and Pep sort of went along with it, and it became very fruitful for them. So yeah, main position defensive midfield, other positions centre back, left back. So you got a versatile guy. It says he's worth £3 million, but as youngsters that have not played that much football, it's quite hard to judge how much money they're worth. Yeah, it's Portuguese. Do we have any other Portuguese players in the team? I don't believe so. That's crazy. I don't believe we have any other Portugueses. No Portugueses in the team. So yeah, this is career. He came up with Sporting. He got released by Sporting, it looks like. Whoever Real SC is, U155, catchy name. Then he went back to Sporting. Maybe went on, I don't know. Maybe got released and then got brought back in. Maybe haven't developed physically enough yet. And then under 17 Sporting, straight up to the under 23s, into the B team, and then on loan to Augsburg, which I'm not going to go and look if they were Bundesliga or second division. And then sold him straight to Basel for 5 million euros. So yeah, if he's worth 3 million euros now, but they sold him for 5 million euros a year ago, obviously the transfer value, your market value, isn't proper. Let's see, 79% Chelsea. It's a here we go confirmed. It's happened. Obviously, he's defensive midfielder slash left back defender. He's not going to be getting loads of goals and assists. We'll look at his stats in a minute. Yeah, they go under 19s Portugal he's played for, under 20s, under 21, so they believe he has a big future, and if he follows that trajectory, he'll be into the Portuguese first team in a few years, you would assume. I think that's all for his profile. Onto FB Ref. It doesn't have his wages. Sometimes they have the wages. 6'2", position midfield. It's not too many stats, I assume. So yeah, he started most of their games last season. Basel, they didn't do that well in the Swiss league. I thought they were one of the top Swiss teams, but they didn't perform that well as a team. But he was starting most games. So he started 22 out of 23 played, and I don't think they even play that many games. I think there's 12 teams, so they'd only be. I don't know how many games they played, but he played a lot of 90 minutes. He didn't play that much. Oh, it was the Bundesliga for Augsburg. He didn't play that much. In the end, got a few goals here and there, got quite a few yellow cards last season, but that's going forward. Yeah, there's not that much stats here. Some passing, they don't cover the Swiss league stats. That's interesting, but I guess you can see from, if we go to Toggle Pro 90, completed 30 passes a game. He's gonna, if I mean, you have to extrapolate 2 seasons ago. You'd hope that he's improved from 2 seasons ago. You'd have to extrapolate that 66% out and hope they improved. His medium passing is good. His long passing could have a bit of improvement. His short passing, 75%, that probably will need to go up. 9 out of 12 a game. In the Enzo Maresca system, you will need to be completing a lot more short passes because that's how you get chances. But then he's playing for Augsburg. I assume they weren't favourites in the Bundesliga. They finished 15th in the end. So they're not going to be playing tiki-taka football, Augsburg. So they probably were like, get one small pass, then hoof it long. Quite a few progressive passes. The stats for the Swiss League aren't here, which is what I was hoping. But I did read somewhere that, I think it was on Instagram, he was first for a lot of important things. Like progressive passes was definitely one. I think successful long balls were definitely one in the Swiss League last season. So he performed very well in, I guess it's a small pond, is that the saying, in the Swiss League. But there are some decent players that have come out of the Swiss League. I think Breel Mbolo, he didn't really live up to his potential. But yeah, this transfer came out of nowhere, by the way. I know we're getting on a bit in this video. This transfer came out of absolute nowhere.